Alright. So, what time is it? 6 o'clock. Ah, 6 a.m. Your favorite time of day. Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy saying the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 6 a.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is... What?! I want to play the game. Why do I gotta do this shit? Okay, how about that? That's how accurate. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we got through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Should be too hard. Yeah, let me whip a couple new ones up. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Okay, so technically this is my third time booting up the game. The second time he asked me to put up the timer. And yeah, okay, well. Anyways, hello everyone, and welcome to the Stanley Parable 2. So, yesterday, we played the Stanley Parable 1, and we beaten the first game. So now we're on to the second game, the Stanley Parable 2. And that's a lie, of course. I haven't even beaten the fucking first game. This game is just wacky now. It's too goofy. It's too crazy, and I love it. So the whole thing now is a numero dos. This game is now a sequel. So, let's see what the hell is going on. I think this is exclusive content.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Oh my.
Stanley worked for a company in a big
Oh
building
no!
where he was
The balloons!
427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this.
They are preserving the original game's
Stanley
integrity.
was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
The Stanley Parable
Something he would
2.
never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company.
I see the
had
get
this
well
happened.
someday balloons.
This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
Very
Shocked,
wrong.
Frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
The fuck trophy? Quit the game and then start it again? What? What the fuck? The sequel is now paused. Oh! Great.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Missed a memo.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy? Click a door 5 times?
No.
Is that all you think?
No, I don't want to do that again. No.
I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now, suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that...
Stanley felt the bucket calling to him, begging
What?
him to pick it up. Why
What
was he
bucket?
not doing it?
What bucket? Oh.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Why am I playing the sequel? Oh
Stanley
no.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be
This
correct?
bucket
Was
is the
this
most
better than
important
the meeting
thing.
room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
The bucket is
No,
talking to me.
never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Oh, I'm too far. Oh!
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Nah, I'ma wait. I'ma wait right here. Brum. 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 Is it not gonna...
Whoa! Hold on. Why did you unplug the phone?
Oh!
Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke.
Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you
Funny.
see?
Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the
unplugged it.
delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video
Ready
on
for a
comedy
really
that
funny
one can watch to
sequence?
fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing?
Fuck!
What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can
What
it
the
be used
fuck?
to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is
Oh my
yes.
god.
Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one
Does
of your
that
arms
matter?
raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body.
That's
These
crazy.
are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and
Flow
then
chart.
spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds,
Oh!
and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary.
You have to
When
pause
the
for a
joke has
bathroom break
concluded,
for a
it is
joke.
customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny."
The funny.
Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the
With the
funny."
funny.
Now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect
I did
example
it!
of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting
What, did it
hard
pick
data
my-
from
did it
your
pick up my
audience on
audio
how
or some
rapt they
shit?
were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter.
Oh my
in no time at
God.
all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, with each of us needed on the front lines of the
War?
war to fight the 12-legged invader who threatens
What
our
the-
very existence, and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
May Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper
What
comedic
the fuck
timing
was
are
that?
still
All I did was
relevant today as
unplug
they
the
were before.
phone.
So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the 2 doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Oh, I thought we were gonna load back.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches.
Wait, why are there
Talking
fences?
bucket, you'll say. How
Why is there
ridiculous.
fences?
How absurd. What a
No!
hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructions.
They gave it railings.
Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now? Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
So we're back. So we're supposed to go back to the 2 doors. What if this was a horror game? I truly wonder.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Fun fact, this is an entirely different ending from unplugging the phone without the bucket. Oh!
What?
Oh!
We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself.
Well,
I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing.
Oh.
I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp.
he's depressed now.
I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again.
No! No!
Surely that will help me improve my...
No! Hey!
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
He's bad at comedy.
What?
Oh.
We're back at the phone already? No.
Oh.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No.
Oh my god. Okay, I don't think it's gonna...
Here we go. You ready?
Alright, let's go
When
left
Stanley
door.
and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Yep. So let's go over here.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone.
That's
Did you
what I
not
did
even look at
3
the instructional
times!
video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Oh.
Stanley, you
What
love
the fuck?
so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized
Oh.
possessions pale in comparison. Yes.
Oh, that was it.
Well, let me try that again, Stanley.
Lads, that was it.
I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a...
Oh, what the fuck?
No? Still not...
What was that it?
Delivery. Pale with shame. Pale with shame. Pale... What's another word?
This isn't the last ending.
Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is.
Can we jump off?
Will make me the king
See, now there's barriers.
instructional videos. Let's see.
Sorry, Leroy. Oh. It's still a sequel. Holy shit.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
I found a bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day.
Really?
This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
I have
know
to
how
hand over the
hard it
bucket.
must be.
I had to hand over the
The
bucket.
broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to
I
be
didn't
strong.
do it.
This is your bucket.
I
This is
didn't
your
do it.
companion and lifelong friend.
I had to.
Can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined.
Unbelievable.
Now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends, that your relationship is purely superficial and convenient, that your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner. Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments.
All right.
Expand on the wide
Guess what?
variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared
Hey.
together. Go through each of them point by
That's
point.
right.
Share your journal entries
That's
detailing the
right.
rich emotional
I'm the
landscape of your
mayor.
feelings for the bucket as
I'm the
they've
mayor.
changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
What am I doing?
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled.
Property
no more
of
debate,
Stanley.
No more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet. With all
Yeah,
the
take a
meandering
hike, broom
philosophical
closet.
diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
You suck. Bye.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
The buck. Oh!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Jesus. So, wait. No, I'm not going back there. Remember the last time we did that? And I died? Here we are. Back at it again. What the fuck? Another one?
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs.
Mini stands.
Oh, what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
Stanlerines.
Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Yay. Yay. So, can I get another sticker? Oh yeah, I forgot I can open doors now. Oh, let's see if this elevator could work finally. Is this a brand new fucking elevator? What is this shit? Oh, let's see. It leads me to the same room. What is the point of the elevator if it doesn't do anything? Money in the morning, money in the evening, Money for breakfast. Money crisp.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Yeah!
At this point, Stanley
Nothing
was so
can separate
absorbed in the
me
tender
and my
spiritual
bucket.
connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
Oh.
Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was
it?
2845.
2845.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
How did I
Was
do
it
it?
the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
He has special dialogue
Yes,
if you put the
this
code
is certainly
early.
the most logical explanation. Okay,
Found another
I'm going back
figure.
to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Now then, what do we have here? Loading, loading,
The elevator
loading,
raced
loading.
downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I'm gonna go this way.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Oh. It's different with the bucket, I
The
swear.
door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
What's gonna happen? I fall to my death? What's that? Oh! 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 What the fuck?
As the machine whirled
Oh.
into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise,
Oh.
Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to
Oh,
be.
yeah.
To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death?
Ah!
This is what Stanley thought to himself.
Ah!
He sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Nope.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous
What the
metal
fuck is
jaws.
that?
In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Oh! What the fuck?
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Wait, where'd my bucket bucket go? No! No! No!
Can you see how arrogant
Oh.
it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Inferno bucket? What? What?
No
Oh.
man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold
Read the
as this
descriptions for
one.
each picture.
It is
Picture.
man who should kneel before the bucket.
They are funny. Let's see. Cave drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the buckets had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worth of its treasures. Oh! The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However, how clear our grasp of the bucket may be, but there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. The fuck? Oh!
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed.
Hey! Oh!
Don't reset
Oh!
the game.
Oh!
Don't give him another opportunity to
Oh!
run off
Hey!
with another
Oh!
beautiful
Hey!
He can save the world
Hey!
from as tools.
Hey!
Only we let Stanley
Hey!
together. The bucket shall take its place.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No. No. Just no.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The fuck? How can we find them? Well, we know small floating objects have appeared across the office. We have to synergize our resources to ensure their retrieval. There are many questions. There was no memo from management. Agenda. How can you tell you spotted one? What makes them float in the air? Who took these pictures of them? Fig leaves are hard to find. Follow clues provided by Employee 416. We can do it. Red room. Huh. Somewhere, both red and blue, a large room, lots of boxes.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason
I'ma
to still be
stay
here.
right here. Surely nothing bad will happen.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
It's doing sweet FA. I love this closet.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Yeah, I'm stay here.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If
No.
I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Nah, I'm still in the closet.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say,
Yeah!
The broom closet ending.
What the fuck?
The broom closet ending was my favorite.
I hope your friends find this concerning.
What was those fucking subtitles?
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid.
Dang!
Because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That
Jesus!
drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
What did I do? I didn't do anything
I've
at
come to a
all.
very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed in front of your screen. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Do that. Really? There's nothing else? You got no option there.
Ah,
Alright.
second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too?
Oh, yes!
I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
I don't think there's nothing left. Is that it? Okay, I'm gonna go back. Come on! God! He's got nothing to say. Yep, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, no collectibles here.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
This is to prevent speedrunners.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated,
Stanley calmly walked
into the opened passageway.
What'd you say? This is to prevent speedrunners from immediately putting in the number. Well, too bad for them. Now we are down the elevator once again.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Wow!
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
You can actually get to the bottom of the room.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yeah!
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that.
This is the first ending I expected you to
the
get
power
first.
You think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification,
Oh.
nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire
Oh.
complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. This is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
Oh,
Your
shit!
time to shine.
Oh, fuck!
It's your story
Oh,
now.
shit!
Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off.
Oh.
What precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start.
Come on!
What's that? You'd like
What
to
the
know where
fuck?
your co-workers are.
What is
Moments
that?
of solace before you're
Fuck!
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing
I'm
buttons
dead.
endlessly and then dying alone.
Oh, I'm dead.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the
fuck is
control
this
wrested
shit?
away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Oh, I'm dead.
You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Oh, there's a door. Never
Dear
mind.
me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look
There's
at you.
nothing to
Running
do!
from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Why?
You're in for...
Why?
But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully?
Fuck.
Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me.
No. I
And
found a
believe
way.
me, I will be laughing at every second
Ah!
of life from the
Ah!
moment I fade in until the moment I say
Ah!
happily ever up.
I'm dead.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Were you counting
Stanley
down?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I just realized how many times you can die in this game.
And so he detoured
Hey,
through
it's
the
pretty
maintenance
tragic.
section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Oh, I got back on track. Never mind. Oh, come the fuck on.
no. Oh, no, 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 not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
I will take my time. Me. This is the second to last broom closet related dialogue. Not gonna say anything? Alright. Well, I'm out. I'm off.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
Tom, I just...
He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive... Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Oh. Who's calling?
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can
What?
you verify that this is correct?
How am I supposed to know that?
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Okay. The hell was that about?
All of his co-workers...
Oh!
Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it?
Oh!
Is this Stanley's office?
Uh-huh. Oh. Oh.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Oh.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. All of his co-workers
there we
were
go.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his
Why
life.
did he keep starting the game again? I don't know. Something probably would happen.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on. All of his co-workers were gone.
What?
What did it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No
fuck is
matter
that?
how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So does nothing happen whenever I begin the game again?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Okay.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
This intimidation of the bucket is spot on.
Good.
Said the bucket. But Stanley feared that any path he
Oh.
walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
Alright, this is what I'm gonna do.
Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
This is what I'm gonna do.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere
somewhere
else.
else.
The cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Wait a minute, the fuck?
Stanley did not question why or how this
It's a
bucket was
collectible
speaking.
right over there.
It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Do do do.
No,
Don't,
stop.
don't.
Look there
Fuck.
on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. How
No!
could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here?
No way,
The problem
man.
is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket. I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game
No,
if
it
not addressed
won't.
quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket.
Oh my
Step in
god.
here for a moment.
No, 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 no. I want to go inside. I want to go inside. You can't make me. You can't make me. The fuck? Oh.
I'm going to run you through some test
Oh.
scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple
What
enough,
the
right?
fuck?
This should tell us everything
Is
we'll
this
ever
a
need
bucket?
to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Oh, I can't. Oh shit. Yes.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Oh, well. I come back and see this.
Item 2.
Lazar, come on.
Is this a bucket?
I'm doing a little pop quiz. It's a bucket.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed
Wow!
of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
That what? Excuse
Item
me.
4. Is this a bucket?
Indeed, that is a bucket.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next
I
one.
thought it was a bucket. It looked like one too.
Is this a bucket?
That is definitely a bucket. Indeed, a bucket.
Correct. This
What? Yes!
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Nope.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Huh?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't
might be a
appreciate
bucket.
the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Oh, this is a tough question.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out.
Why?
I've lost all sense of perspective. What
No,
is
no,
a
no, no,
bucket?
no.
What isn't a bucket? Mere
Oh.
moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Am I a bucket?
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I need
No.
to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay.
No.
Here we
No.
go.
No. Please. No.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. My God,
Exactly.
I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful
It's just
to
a
get
dark
some clarity
screen.
on that issue.
Oh
But
wait,
it's
the
a truth of
subtitles
fact
also
that
is
we
not a
haven't got
bucket.
game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person. All right, here we go.
Lazaro, we're all buckets. It's confirmed. We're all buckets, Lazaro.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
So it might not. So it might just not be buckets, but everything around us is. The fuck? Uh-huh.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
The meaning is a little different.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers.
No,
If
you
I
do.
did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
I need some stickers. I need the stickers. And he skipped by
Coming
the
to a
meeting room.
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
Am I crazy?
Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
My bucket's gone!
Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious.
Oh.
Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley, where are you, bucket?
Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
I want to find the bucket!
To find the bucket, he had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh my God, really? Again?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose,
Jesus,
picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Oh
but on
no!
this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had
My God.
There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped
My bucket
all the way
is
to
gone! The backflip? And that was the end.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
See here. The hell is that noise? I suggest looking for those Stanley rings. Those figurines.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfect. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Oh, dang.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because
Oh, I
that's what
forgot about
fans
the
want
Adventure
from a sequel.
Line.
They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never
The
seen
most important
before.
characters of the
Yes,
Stanley
I know I'm
Parable.
the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
The Broom Closet. Oh my goodness. There it is. The Broom Closet, the best character in the whole game. In the fireplace. Okay. Nothing to interact here. What about you, computer? I think that's the last time the Broom Closet is ever spoken about. Let's follow this Adventure Line.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't
It
you
just
remember
abruptly
all those great
cuts.
jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic
What?
now as it was back then. Let's do it for the
Oh.
fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this.
I just heard
But
that
if
line
we
like
want to
20
do
minutes
that,
ago.
You're going to have to give something up.
I'm never giving my bucket. I'm never giving my bucket. It's
Don't you
mine.
Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Yeah, no. No.
Now listen
Turn it
to me.
off.
It's crucial that you give it the
Turn
bucket.
it off.
I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
No.
So I can hear you
It's
saying,
my bucket.
how does a character with only one
It's
personality
my
trait
bucket.
deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet?
Hello, we're getting the bucket
I wonder
away!
what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer.
People
until you
justified
crush that
So
damn
Hiyori?
bucket. Quickly now.
Oh, Jesus.
The fans are waiting.
Oh,
Do it for the
Jesus.
fans, Stanley. Give
I
the
can't.
fans what they
No,
want.
I
Hurry.
can't. I can't.
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it's gone now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
And that was the end of the Bucket Destroyer.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again. A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and
Please, the
entered
meeting
door
room,
on
do
his
the
left.
figurine thing.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
What?
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley
Trust
took the
me,
door
it's
on
a
his left
shortcut.
to go, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Now, anyways, nothing in this room changed, Lazaro. Everything changed. No. It's the same one.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But
Screaming.
alas, no stickers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
What if I throw the bucket out the window?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were
2845!
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
I have the buckets with me at last. Now it's time to see what else has changed.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Eh.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently,
Don't cry, sweet
reassuring
bucket.
it that everything
It's
would be
okay.
fine.
We'll make it through. Together.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
Are you under the mind control,
What
bucket?
things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
If I drop down...
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one
Except for the bucket.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. for he and the bucket were But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds.
The fuck?
Silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
What the fuck? Birds?
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
And that was it.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. Ah, the embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Back here again. Large room, lots of boxes. I seriously don't know how to get these two figures. A warehouse access plan. Produce one plank to allow ease of access past fence. Construct bridge to allow collection of shiny floats. Retrieve Chris's remains from warehouse floor. Construct new structurally sound bridge. Second is in the warehouse. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna find that.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I have the buckets with me. I'm pretty sure this elevator would at least be fourth is in the roots for the other video games ending. Stanley. Alright. I'm gonna just wait right here. What could possibly change while I'm in this elevator? At least anything at all would change. Will something ever change, Lazaro? No.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
2, 8,
Crushed by the weight of
6,
this revelation,
4.
Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire. if
No,
not for the
how is it
soothing
not the
presence of bucket.
code?
Even now, in his darkest of hours,
2,
could
8,
the
4,
bucket's
5.
warmth
There we
and
go.
guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would, but Stanley
Thank
guessed the correct
you.
code by
Jesus
sheer
Christ.
luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
8. You know what? I got another
Stanley
thing.
and the bucket walked straight ahead through the
Here's
large
what
door
we're
that
gonna
read,
do.
Mind control for... Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back,
On track.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward.
He'll be fine. What is gonna kill us? Nothing. Do you understand? Nothing. So here's what I'm gonna do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So let's see what happens if we reset before we
As the
die.
machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying the bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Is that it? Was that really it? The fuck? Oh, my dog is scratching at the door.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
It sure was. Truly one of a kind. I didn't get to read this shit, actually. You're standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in the exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
That's a little rude. Whoa. The fuck? An analogy? Analogy of freaking buckets?
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket. But But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
Bucket moment.
Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket.
And step forward.